Mickey Kellerman, and I am the president of Kellerman Consulting.
I'm Brian Kellerman. I'm the Chief Food Safety Officer of Kellerman Consulting.
Mickey and Brian, will you tell us the story of how Kellerman Consulting got started and how the business has evolved?
So I was planning on starting a consulting company, and I was talking to Brian a lot about what I was going to do and asking him a lot of questions about what he did as a food safety and quality professional at the company he worked at. And I became very intrigued by what Brian did, and it sounded really exciting to me. And we started having discussions about what was going on in the food industry at the same time, specifically about how the FDA was coming out with new regulations and how they were going to start enforcing these regulations and requirements that hadn't been enforced in the past. And so through the conversations that we had, we kind of came up with the idea, what about doing consulting specifically built around what Brian does with food safety and quality, and helping companies to comply with the new FDA rules.
Brian, how did your experience successfully managing a GFSI program at a food manufacturing facility drive your desire to start Kellerman Consulting?
As I worked for a food factory, much of my interactions were with other companies asking for supplier documents and doing on-site visits, having people come to visit the facility I worked in. And through those interactions, it was very clear just how alone I was in trying to understand how to set up a safety and quality program, and how alone everyone else was. Information was shared informally and in a discordant way, and in talking to Mickey about starting up a business, it seemed like a logical conclusion to say, hey, we could be someone that is there as a resource for other businesses.
Since you started Kellerman Consulting, I've often heard you reference the company's core values. Can you tell us about those core values?
Brian and I sat down at the very beginning before we even started the company and had a conversation to just talk about out loud, like, what are those values that are most important to us, both professionally and in the business sense, but also personally in our lives, because those things should align with each other. So things like honesty and transparency, they seem like simple things, but unfortunately, not everyone actually shares those values. Accountability. I've worked in other situations where the people above me had no accountability, and that's very frustrating as someone when you're working for someone else, and they may be holding you accountable for something, but they don't actually get held accountable themselves as the business owner or a leader in an organization. So supportiveness is another value, and we all of us in Kellerman Consulting work hard to be supportive of each other. So responsiveness. One of the key things that I think has helped us to be successful as a company is literally just responding when people send emails or call. Responding in a timely manner. It's a very simple thing, but so many people struggle with that. And then relentlessness. That's something I've since I was a little kid, been relentless in my pursuit of being successful, I guess how I define that. And to have an opportunity to be relentless every day in pursuit of making our business successful, and also trying to be supportive of our employees so they're successful as well. It's really the opportunity of a lifetime.
Thank you. How has Kellerman Consulting grown as a company, and what types of projects do you do?
We've done about 550 client projects in a little under 5 years. Which I feel great about. I don't think I ever would have imagined when we started the business that we would have worked on that many projects at this point. And we've worked on projects in every part of the food industry. We've worked with manufacturing companies, storage and distribution companies, farms, brokers, importers, restaurants. You name it, we've worked with them.
What strategies do you have for continuous improvement at Kellerman Consulting?
So we have the opportunity and the ability to work remotely for ourselves and our employees. However, we come together multiple times per week to have all company meetings. We do that on the sales process. We do it for development of our technical writing. And then there are also marketing and meetings that go along with the administrative functioning of the business. So in those meetings and in our self-assessments, we are constantly trying to evaluate our performance, the interactions we have with our clients, and then ultimately the outcomes of the projects to make sure that we're getting better all the time.
Will you tell us about what people get out of working with Kellerman Consulting?
Because I'm the person who our clients speak with first, typically when they contact us. I run our sales process and do consultative selling with our customers. And what I hear over and over again when people contact us is they're overwhelmed, or they're feeling anxiety, or they're losing sleep at night because they don't think they can get this accomplished, and this being in compliance or being certified so they can grow their business. And at the end of many of the sales calls that I have, people even tell me before they've ever agreed to work with us or anything, they just tell me that they feel better. It's not all I really did at the end of the day is listen to them, and thankfully I have enough experience doing this that I'm able to, with most people, guide them in the right direction and answer all the questions that they have. And so just hearing that at the end of the first conversation that they feel better is very gratifying. Then for the people that decide to work with us, watching, and we meet every week about each of the projects, so I'm kept in the loop on what's going on in the projects, what progress is being made, and get to hear the progress is great. And then to see our clients end up having a successful outcome at the end of the project it's just an amazing feeling.
How has Kellerman Consulting evolved from where you started?
One of the reasons our business has grown so much is because there was a lot more types of projects that people needed help on in the food industry than we had even originally imagined. So not all those are a fit necessarily, but because of the experience Brian had, because of the experience some of our other consultants had, we did have the confidence to take on projects that we hadn't really done before, and to then see those projects have successful outcomes to give us even more confidence to help people out as they come to us with new and different problems. 5 years later, it's really a great thing.